The sky was dark and full of smoke. Heavy ships hovered above the mountain ruins. Rain fell hard, washing blood into the cracks of broken stone. A line of chained prisoners knelt in silence, their heads down and bodies trembling. Among them was the human, soaked and bruised. He did not cry or beg. His eyes stared straight ahead, unblinking. Around him, the alien guards waited with weapons raised, their fingers tight on the triggers. The order was simple: execute all prisoners at dawn. The war had ended with fire and loss. The alien council blamed the humans for the final blast. Even though no proof existed, they needed someone to blame. The crowd wanted blood. The soldiers wanted peace. The council wanted control. Near the edge of the landing zone, a tall blue-skinned alien woman stood with two small girls. One girl clutched her waist in fear. The other pointed toward the prisoners, her fingers shaking. Her eyes were wide. Her mouth opened to speak, but no sound came out. The human raised his head. He saw her, not the guards, not the weapons. Just the girl. Something in her eyes looked familiar. Not fear, not hate. Recognition. The woman looked down at her daughter. "What is it?" she asked. But the girl only kept pointing. A commander stepped forward, holding the list of names. "These are the final traitors," he said, "including the human who started the firestorm." His voice echoed across the platform. "They will be removed. As the law commands." The guards aimed their weapons. The human closed his eyes. The others beside him sobbed. Rain fell heavier. Thunder cracked. Then the little girl shouted, "No, that's not him." Her voice was clear and sharp. "That's the one who saved us." Everyone froze. The guards lowered their weapons slightly. The woman gasped. The commander frowned. The girl ran forward before anyone could stop her. She stood in front of the human and spread her arms wide. "He carried me through the fire," she cried. "He held me when my father died. He protected me from the machines." The human opened his eyes. He looked down at her, confused. Slowly, his memory returned. A small shelter, a family hiding, a little blue girl crying. He had held her. He had pulled her from the wreckage. The commander stepped closer. "Is this true?" he asked the human. But the human stayed silent. He had learned that silence was safer than truth in alien courts. The woman came forward, kneeling beside her daughter. "You're sure?" she asked. The girl nodded again and again. "He didn't hurt anyone. He saved me. I saw it. He stayed behind so I could run." The other prisoners raised their heads. They looked at the human. Some of them had hated him. Some blamed him. But now they watched in silence. The commander turned to the soldiers. "Hold your fire," he ordered. "This changes everything." The woman stood and faced the commander. "If the child speaks truth, then this man is no enemy," she said. "We owe him more than chains and death." The human remained still. His arms were sore. His knees ached. But something inside him felt lighter. The sky did not clear. The rain did not stop. But in that moment, the execution was paused. Something had shifted, and everyone could feel it. The soldiers stood frozen. Their weapons were still raised, but no one gave the order to fire. The air was heavy, not just from rain, but from doubt. Commander stepped back and looked toward the tall woman. She was holding her daughter tightly now. The girl's voice had shaken the silence, but the weight of truth still pressed on them all. "You say he saved you?" The commander asked again. "That this human did not attack you or your family?" His voice was low, questioning, careful. The girl nodded. "He helped me when everyone else ran. He carried me through the fire. He told me to close my eyes and not be afraid." Behind them, the prisoners shifted. One of the older ones coughed and whispered something. Another looked toward the sky, where the ships still hovered like vultures waiting for death. The commander looked down at his tablet. The records show this man was captured near the fallen reactor. That location was where the blast began. Many died. Your family was found near there as well, the woman replied softly. My mate died shielding me. But the human, this man was not the cause. He pulled us out of the debris. He covered my daughters when the flames grew. The commander walked slowly toward the kneeling human. His boots splashed in puddles of cold rainwater. He stared into the man's eyes, searching for fear or lies. But the human did not flinch. You speak basic? The commander asked. Do you deny the charges against you? The human finally spoke. His voice was rough but steady. I didn't come to kill. I came to fix a relay. I didn't know about the bomb. I only knew people were screaming. The girl stepped forward again. He put his jacket over me when I was cold. He gave me water. He stayed behind when others left. He said I reminded him of someone. More voices rose from the crowd. Some guards murmured to each other. Others looked unsure. One of them lowered his weapon completely. The commander raised a hand. Enough, he said. We will not execute anyone today. Not until this is investigated further. Take the prisoners back to their cells. One of the guards hesitated. Sir, the council will not be pleased. They demanded blood for the fallen. The council can wait, the commander replied. Justice is not found in fire and chains. If there is a chance this man is innocent, then we must know the truth. The girl walked beside the human as the guards pulled him to his feet. Her small hand reached for his, and he held it gently. Their eyes met, and something passed between them. Trust. Rain still poured from the sky. Thunder still cracked above. But for now, no one died. Inside the dark prison hall, the human was returned to his cell. The chains were not removed, but the door was not locked with the same force as before. The girl's words had changed the wind. A storm had been paused, but not stopped. That night, the woman sat with her daughters in a quiet room. The youngest fell asleep quickly, curled in her mother's arms. But the older one sat awake, staring at the ceiling. Do you believe me? The girl asked suddenly. About what I said? The mother brushed her daughter's hair with a shaking hand. I believe you, she whispered. I believe you saved him too. Elsewhere in the base, the commander sat in front of a glowing screen. He rewound footage from the battle site. Flames, shadows, bodies running through smoke. Then, at last, a shape carrying something small. Zoomed in, the image was blurry, but clear enough. A human man with a small girl in his arms, running, not fighting. Not destroying, saving. The commander leaned back in his chair. He rubbed his forehead. This wasn't what he expected. This wasn't what he had been told. Truth was beginning to cut through the smoke of war, and the council would not like that at all. The prison lights flickered. The hallway smelled like metal and rust. Every door was sealed with thick locks, and silence pressed against the walls like a weight. Inside one of the cells, the human sat against the wall. His arms rested on his knees. His clothes were damp. His body ached, but his mind was sharp. He stared at the small light above the door. It blinked in rhythm, steady and cold. He didn't know how long he had been in the cell. He didn't ask. Time didn't matter here. Across the base, the commander moved quickly through the corridors. He passed officers and guards without a word. His face was tight and his jaw clenched. He entered the archive room. The security officer on duty stood up. Sir, it's late. Is there something urgent? Yes, the commander said. I need access to the files from Sector 9. Footage from the day of the reactor blast. The officer hesitated. Those are restricted. The council marked them sealed under emergency code. Override it, the commander ordered. Under my authority, the officer tapped on the console. Files began to appear. Dozens of names, maps, videos, sound clips. The screen glowed with classified chaos. The commander scrolled quickly. Then he found what he needed. A damaged drones. Recording. Labeled, unknown human civilian response. He watched the footage. The drone had been flying above the ruins. Through the smoke, a figure appeared. A man, carrying a small alien girl in his arms. He limped, bleeding. Behind him, flames chased him through the rubble. He shielded the child with his own body. At one point, he tripped and fell. He covered the girl as debris rained down. Then he got up and kept running. The commander leaned closer. His mouth tightened. The video shook from impact but held clear enough detail to confirm what the girl had claimed. The human hadn't attacked anyone. He had saved a life. The next morning, the council gathered. Tall, robed figures with hard eyes sat in a circular room of steel and glass. The commander stood at the center, facing them alone. "You disobeyed orders," one council member said. "You delayed the execution." "That is not your right." "I had cause," the commander replied. "There is evidence suggesting one prisoner is not guilty. Possibly more." Another member leaned forward. "You believe the word of a child?" "I believe the truth is not where we were told it was," he said. "And I believe this human may hold information we've ignored." The room fell silent. The council did not like surprises. They did not like being challenged. But the video had been sent before the meeting. They had seen it. "Proceed with caution," the lead counselor said at last. "But remember, Commander, if you are wrong, it will be your neck in chains." The commander bowed. "Understood." Back in the cell, the human heard footsteps. The door slid open with a hiss. 2 guards entered, but this time without weapons drawn. "You're being moved," one of them said. "Not released. Just questioned." He didn't resist. He stood slowly, joints stiff. His hands were still bound, but they did not push him. He was escorted through the halls as prisoners stared from behind their bars. He was taken to a room with white walls and a single table. The commander was already waiting. "I need your help," the commander said. "Tell me what happened." "Everything." The human sat down. He looked at the man across from him. For the first time, no one called him enemy. No one pointed a weapon at his head. He took a deep breath and started speaking. He described the explosions, the screams, the broken tower. He told them about the woman calling for her daughters. He told them how he found the girl trapped beneath the beam, how he had chosen to save her instead of running. The commander listened without interrupting. He took notes but mostly watched the human's face. He looked for lies. He found none. Outside the room, the little girl waited with her mother. Her eyes were wide, but she didn't look scared. She looked hopeful. She had pointed to the human once, and now, that small act might change everything. Asterisk, the human sat in the center of the room while officers watched from behind glass. The commander stood near the door, arms crossed, listening. Again to the recording of the man's story. "I was fixing a relay tower," the human repeated. "I was sent by a joint team. No weapons, no armor, just tools. Then the blast hit. Fire came from below. I don't know who triggered it." He paused, then looked up. "All I remember after that was screaming. And a little girl crying under rubble." The commander nodded. "That matches the drone footage. And the child's story. The explosion source may not have been human at all. We were blamed," the human said. "Because we were easy targets." The officer behind the glass turned to his colleague. "If this spreads, the council will face public outrage. They executed dozens without trial." "Silence it," the other replied. "If truth breaks order, truth will be buried." But not everyone agreed. Another voice in the shadows had been watching, a low-ranking technician who had lost family in the fire. He copied the footage into a small device and slipped it into his coat. Outside the base, the alien woman and her daughters sat under a metal awning as rain fell softly around them. The little girl hugged her knees. Her eyes stayed fixed on the building in front of them. The mother stroked her hair gently. "You were very brave," she said. "Many wouldn't have spoken." "I had to," the girl replied. "He saved me." Why would they kill someone for saving a life? Back inside, the commander paced. "This won't be easy," he told the human. "The council will not admit a mistake. If they can't silence the truth, they'll silence you." "I figured as much," the human said. "But I'd do it." Again, "I didn't carry her for thanks. I carried her because it was right." "You may not survive this," the commander warned. "Even if we prove your innocence. The council needs a scapegoat. They've already written your story for the public." The human leaned back. "Then give them a new story." The technician entered the room quietly. He handed the small device to the commander. "Sir, this contains full video data from Drone 12. The original files, no edits. Time-stamped and verified." The commander took it without a word. His eyes narrowed. "This changes everything." Later that night, a secret meeting was held. Not in the council chambers, but in a quiet corner of the base. A group of officers and citizens sat around a long table. The footage played on the wall. Gasps filled the room. "That's him," one voice said. "He's carrying the girl through fire. He's shielding her." "I lost my brother in the explosion," another said. "But I never believed the story they gave us. This proves the truth." The commander stepped forward. "We can still fix this. But we must act before the council locks it all down. If this video spreads, the public will demand answers." A decision was made. The footage would be leaked to the wider network. Not with violence, not with protests, but with the simple power of truth. In the cell, the human waited. He could feel the shift in the air. Guards were acting different. Not softer, but more careful. He knew something had changed. The next morning, the sky was clear. For the first time in weeks, sunlight touched the broken ruins beyond the base. And the network buzzed with a new broadcast. Citizens across the galaxy watched the footage. They saw a human risking his life to save an alien child. They saw flames, fear, and courage. No voiceover, no lies. Just the truth. The council held an emergency meeting. Some demanded the commander be arrested. Others called for the human's immediate execution. But not all were blind. One counselor stood slowly. "We have lied. We have killed innocence. If we continue, we lose more than power. We lose our soul." That sentence echoed louder than any scream. Crowds gathered outside council buildings across the colonies. Screens floated in the air, playing the footage of the human saving the girl. The image burned into every viewer's mind. He was no monster, no enemy, no destroyer. He was someone who chose to protect a child in the middle of fire. News anchors asked questions the council feared. Who had planted the bomb? Why was the truth hidden? How many others were wrongly executed? Inside the base, the commander unlocked the cell door. He stepped inside with no guards. The human stood slowly, unsure what would happen next. "You're free," the commander said. "The council can't hold you anymore." Public pressure forced their hand. "You've been cleared of all charges." The human didn't move. His body still expected pain. His muscles were tight. "And the others?" he asked. "The ones they executed?" The commander looked down. "I can't bring them back, but their names will be cleared. That's all we can do now." The human nodded. It wasn't enough, but it was something. As he stepped out into the sunlight, the little girl ran toward him, her arms wrapped around his waist. Her eyes were full of tears, but her smile was bright. "You're okay," she whispered. "I told them you were good." He knelt and hugged her back. "You did more than tell them. You saved me." The alien woman approached with her younger daughter. "We owe you everything," she said. "You could have left us. But you didn't." "I didn't think about it," the human replied. She needed help. That's all that mattered. They walked together to the edge of the platform. Below them, people looked up and cheered. Some held signs, some carried candles. The human was no longer just a survivor. He was a symbol. A council transport arrived. Soon after, two officials stepped out, their faces pale. They offered the human a formal apology. It was stiff and cold, but public. The crowd demanded it. "We acted on false information," one said. "Your actions have shown us the danger of quick judgment. We will review all past executions and open new investigations." The human said nothing. Words were easy. Truth was not. He simply nodded and turned back to the girl. That night, a celebration took place in the outer city. Lights flickered in every building. Songs played through the streets. Children wore ribbons the color of fire and steel, the same colors on the human's old uniform. He stood near the back of the gathering. He didn't like attention. He didn't want praise. He just watched as the girl danced with her sister. Under the glowing lanterns, the commander joined him. "You did something rare," he said. "You changed their minds. Without force, without war." "I didn't mean to," the human replied. "I just didn't want her to die." The commander raised a glass. Sometimes that's enough to start a revolution. In the days that followed, the council faced growing resistance. People demanded more transparency. Families of the executed began to speak out. The human story gave them courage. Some called him a hero. Some called him a traitor to his own kind. But most saw him for what he truly was. A man who did the right thing when no one else would. He didn't stay long. Once cleared, he chose to leave the central cities. He packed what little he had and walked away from the base with no destination. The girl cried when he left. She gave him a ribbon from her hair. He tied it around his wrist and promised to keep it. "You'll come back?" she asked. "If I'm needed," he said. He disappeared into the stars, not as a soldier, not as a prisoner, but as a reminder that even in war, kindness could survive. And for generations, they remembered him not as a human, but as the one who carried hope through fire.